right, hi guys, and welcome back to the show. I have a really great guest today. I'm excited that he's joining us. Pablo, how are you? How are you doing?
Hi, Brandon. Thank you for invitation, and very happy to be with you today.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to have you. I think this discussion is going to be one of the best that we've had. A really interesting topic we're going to be talking about today. But just to start, Pablo, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do?
Yeah, with such an introduction, yeah, I should mention, yeah, should meet the expectation definitely. Yeah,
You will.
I see myself in companies I'm working with and for. Usually see myself as the one who is establishing self-sustainable corporate innovation systems, processes, functions, governance models in companies. Actually, I'm helping companies to acquire this competence and capacity to constantly innovate and using this source for innovation own employees. So employee-driven innovation, entrepreneurship, corporate startups. So things like that. This is the area of my interest and my passion of since more than 10 years for now.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, and just taking a look at your resume, extremely impressive resume. Looks like you actually spent some time at Cal State University, and then after graduation, you went directly to 3M, and have some dealings with 3M myself in my personal employment experiences. So yeah, just curious, what led you down this path? It sounds like a very interesting career path that you've chosen.
Thank you for this question. Actually, for me, it was also the journey. And in this journey, I also keep discovering myself and keep discovering certain things which actually established me in the current state, not in the role, but in the state. And now I think, yeah, and explain it a little bit in a format of, I came to this story and found myself and found main value which I'm helping to create for companies and for people, mainly on the people side and for people. And it can be described in a simple words like it when I realized that corporate innovation practices and especially employee-driven innovation practices, entrepreneurial corporate culture, helping employees to find and unlock and discover their own personal human subjectivity or agency. And then after they actually express themselves more as agent, as subjective individuals in the all aspects of their life, not limiting themselves to the corporate life with this kind of new self-realization, if I may say, self-understanding, self-awareness. And it was true biggest discovery for me. And when I realized that, I thought that it's something bigger than the just improvements, than just new products, than just certain commercial things. Yeah, this understanding brings me to the very, very important conclusion. This is main purpose of my activity. And from the practical perspective, commercial, let's say, with perspective, this is definitely the idea and proof of the concept that the systems of the corporate innovation systems, of the corporate startup systems, of the employee-driven innovation systems, and the corporate entrepreneurship culture and the practices which I'm helping companies to bring in place, this is something self-scalable and self-sustainable stuff which actually bring to the company some kind of engine that and ability to consciously self-actualize own competitive advantage.
Uh,
Sorry for this complicated
no, not at
sentences,
all. Yeah.
but the main idea is unfortunately cannot be maybe described in simpler words, but it's simple as is. So it's about continuous self-actualization and self-strengthening of the own competitive advantage of the company,
Hmm.
driven and bringing by own employees.
Right.
This is as simple as that.
Right. And I mean, this is a space that is very familiar to me. I'm, currently working at a startup and we're tackling this basically head on, right? So, I mean, and one of the reasons why I was driven to talk to you because of these companies and these enterprises that you consult and advise, can you, if you're willing, would you walk me through ways we can kind of begin to foster this corporate culture of open innovation and kind of open collaboration among enterprises that are kind of less willing to fail and are hesitant about these ideas of innovation and trying new things when, there's so much pushback from, certain people, within their organization.
Oh, yeah, thank you for touching this subject because the open innovation element, if I may say so, is, I think, it's totally necessary component and in overall innovation management agenda for the company. And for example, in my case, when I just started this journey in corporate innovation, honestly speaking, from very beginning, the open innovation element was never must have or something like I should or supposed to integrate. And I came to this conclusion that we need it as a company when we realized that, for example, employees whom we given the opportunity to discover new opportunities within the company or for the company, improvement opportunities or disruptive opportunities, they pretty often lack in certain expertise inside of the company. So they have or should find this expertise outside. They should go outside. And this is, for example, how this story with open innovation started for me and with me, is that company should go beyond its own formal borders and walls of offices and plants and labs and so on. And then after I realized that it's unfortunately easier to say than to do, because when you start working with external inventors, startups, makers, and other corporations, or co-prototyping and co-testing something with someone else, including other company, then it uh, it's easy to handle, it's not easy to manage from within the company, and there are also pretty much a lot of barriers you never know in advance or before you start in it, and you should be ready to recognize them. For example, challenging the internal expertise and authority of certain people who should take care about certain subjects. For example, if you would love to collaborate with some digital startup or with some automation solutions or digital testing solution or some new automation instruments, and you should be ready and you should really prepare your IT director and some IT experts and stakeholders of IT agenda in your company, that this collaboration will not hurt his authority, his power, his expertise, because he or she definitely don't want to be in a position like, hey, I'm here, great VP with good salary, with resources, with budgets and so on, and
Yep.
I cannot come up to this idea or to this conclusion or to this solution which these young guys from garage actually offering to our company, and breaking the wall and so on and so forth. So these things should be really, and things like that, not only these things, should be really managed carefully and governed carefully, facilitated carefully from within. That's why when someone is saying, hey, we are going to openly innovate, and what kind of a preparation we need from within? It's simple. And in this situation, I'm saying, okay, if you think it's simple and you're ready, go ahead. But I do have some failures in my pocket and some scars on my skin that I can share, can show, and can prove that maybe you should
Exactly.
stop and think a little bit more. And this is just one of the aspects of the story, because there are many more, and also related to this fail tolerance idea, philosophy, culture as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much ego, inflated ego, and red tape that you have to deal with, and bureaucracy breaking down all of these different barriers. So, I mean, this is a huge challenge, and a lot of people don't want to necessarily put their neck out and look bad, right, for fear of failure. So, you had kind of mentioned this idea of successful success, which happens when you do failure, right? Can you kind of walk me through what that means? What is successful success, and what it takes to achieve this?
Yeah, successful success for the sake of success. Yeah, we're talking about success, and whatever happened, we should look successful, talk about successful things, and only about successful things. And when I'm saying that, I think it would resonate for anyone who is dealing with corporate world life and communication and business media and so on, especially when this something is going, or yeah, mouth or official, let's say, sources of information from corporation. Yeah. And the situation today is like companies don't want to talk about failures at all, openly, outside, definitely, but also within. So
Mm,
it's a big luck when there is a formats like which enabling to talk about the failures or certain learnings from these failures within companies. And of course many companies trying to play in this entertainment formats like fuck up nights and all these nice like entertaining things. But once again, and I did it in my life a couple of times actually, still even within formats like that, especially senior managers, are really, really avoiding giving examples of some interesting real failures with real learnings. Once
mm,
again, because when you can fail, it means sometimes, I don't know why, I guess why, for people that hey, this guy can fail once again, and it sounds like that we companies willing or feel comfortable to living in this illusion when we are not talking about failures. It means that if you don't know about them, if you're not talking about them, it means that they will not happen, or they never happened before.
mm,
It's like this in this story with Mowgli and Akela, the wolf. Yeah, so Akela failed, and when he failed first time, he fails last time. Yeah, this metaphor, unfortunately so actual for the modern business world that it really require new culture and real rethinking of this idea of failure, in meanings that what does this failure mean for us, and what can we learn, what can we take from it, and so on and so on. And typically when you start talking about failure, even companies which claiming that they practice in open innovation, corporate innovations, entrepreneurship and things like that, then they saying we are fail tolerance. What does it mean? Well, they explaining that usually like, hey, we given a chance for the 3 failures for our people, saying okay, but it sounds for me, it means for me that you totally misunderstood the concept of the failure
right,
tolerance culture. It's
right.
not about giving a chance for failure, like, and repeat it 2 more times, and then after we failing you, we firing you. Yeah?
We're done.
No,
Yeah.
it's not about repeating the same failure. It's obvious. Of course, you should not repeat the same failure, not 3 times, but even second time.
Mm,
This is not about this idea.
mm,
Failure tolerance culture is creating a culture, circumstances, governance model, environment, processes, and every infrastructure, including budget and
mm-hmm,
methodologies and support, so we can experiment fast, often, cheap, and safe. So
mm-hmm,
we fast, fail cheap, fail safe, and immediately using this knowledge to improving our solution we're working on, or actually canceling it, saying, "Hey, this failure is so big that total idea is have no chance for the next steps, or there is no future for that." Or it opens the insights or give insights for the certain spin-off of certain new idea, or we can talk about these learnings later, so it can trigger or influence some other totally new or different ideas or subjects in our lives. Well, so this is what is failure tolerance culture. Yeah, actually, in this concept or in this direction, I even supposed to create such kind of a tooling and conceptual idea of the capital of failure. And
mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe we
Yeah.
can also discuss about that or talk about that.
Yeah, please. I mean, that is, I guess, feel free to expound upon that too. But I mean, I guess also too is that from, my experience and seeing, the way that so many different companies have basically these polar, opposite ways of coming, to this idea of embracing, failure, this failure tolerance, some wanting to, like you say, fail fast, get those lessons learned, apply them, not do the same thing over and over, to create some version of insanity. But like how and why do some companies seem to be so tolerant of failure, willing to embrace it, while others are, more reserved, more hesitant? I mean, we none of us may have the answer, but from your personal experience and advising, what do you think the reason is that there seems to be this huge polar opposite between the way some enterprise companies embrace or come to this idea of tolerance towards failure versus, like you said, three times, and then that's the amount of time you can fail.
I mean, the basic reason for that is that companies just simply mixing the concepts. And when we're talking about this three times and it's over, it's actually not failure tolerance. It's passion. Oh no, it's not passion. It's that was a good word I had in my mind right now, and now I should remember about this. Yeah, kind of. Okay, I'll back to this later when
Mm,
I remember the word. But
mm,
the idea is still the same. It's about a way like environment when we saying that yes, you can make mistakes, so you should not afraid of acting and moving forward. But totally different idea is like, hey, making mistake, it's a part of our process of innovation. Yeah, and this is the way how we innovate, and this is normal, this is only way how you innovate when you're ready for the to
mm,
failures. And it's about innovative way of thinking and just running current processes. So when you run in current process business as usual, then of course you're talking in terms of, or talking about, you cannot fail too much, because the only way you can fail with the existing processes. Yeah. And then of course when you have a process and you fail with this process, it's not okay when you repeatedly failing with the same process. Yeah, you should just
mm,
follow the process when this process is actual, when it's established, and so on. And another idea, when we're failing while trying something new, and actually we expecting for the success, but also we are ready for failure, and this is absolutely okay, because when we're dealing with unknownness, when we're not talking about the established process, then of course it's okay. But majority of companies, especially successful companies, has a tendency to stick to old ways of working, to status quo. We were successful for the last 100 years, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, doesn't matter. And when we stuck to this status quo, to this idea of what we have done was successful, it means that we should keep doing that like we did it before. And in this paradigm, with this philosophy, the idea of failure coming to this conclusion that yeah, you cannot fail more than three times, because each failure means that you breaking the order we should follow. You know what I mean? And
mm,
it means when you failing in this case, it creates danger for our success in the future, because we believe that our success in the future lies in practicing of what we have done before. You know what I mean?
yep, absolutely.
And with this philosophy, a failure tolerance is one thing. Yeah, and this, you should not repeat the same failures. And totally different story when companies open to challenging status quo and trying new things, and we're saying, hey, we to reach certain level of competitiveness, we should try new things. Why?
Mm,
Because when we buying something safe, something we know the result we can expect from the solution, what does it mean? It means that we are buying something which prove itself. It means that someone else already tried it and prove it and establish it.
right.
So with this idea, with this philosophy, with this approach, you never lead, you follow someone. So it
Mm,
means that someone discovered something
mm-hmm,
and try it and establish it, deploy it, and then after you come in and repeating something that someone else done, and you can only try to make it cheaper, faster, made some improvements with that. But if this your competitor made it earlier, established it, introduced it earlier, he or she has this advantage
right,
of time advantage of keep improving this solution. So you're always following.
right.
It means that if you would love to lead, if you would love to break through, to disrupt, you have to try something new. It
Right.
means that you're dealing with unknownness, and dealing with unknownness, it's even worse than dealing with the failure of something well established before, because it's total unknownness. Something well established before, you know that you fail or not, but with this one you don't know
You
will
don't
you
know.
fail or no. And
Exactly.
the And it's also the challenge, and this is part of my job, by the way, to explain companies how they can treat differently what this result of this experiment is, what the result of this, what the failure means actually.
Hmm.
And when for example financial people, controlling people for whom unexpected things, failures and so on, this is pure risks. When I'm explaining to them that, hey, on scale, yes, but when we fail in fast on the smaller environment, safe
Smaller scale.
environment,
Yep.
or virtual environment, yeah, so something
Yes.
artificial environment,
This is a good
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I know that
Yes.
you love this subject for purpose or with purpose.
Yes.
Uh, it means that, yeah, we can fail often, frequently, safely, and what we actually buying, what we have in the result, we don't have a failure, we don't have losses, we have costs or even investments we
Mm,
made upfront in information. So we buying information
hmm.
about probability of success.
Hmm.
And if you buy in probability of success, then after you can attract, for example, cheaper money when you
Mm.
have this experiment driven information for the certain project or certain investments.
Yep.
And when you come into bank or to investor and saying, hey, there is a probability of success, this is something new, something innovative, oh, let's try on scale. And of course, risk assessments and stuff like that, saying, hey, money in this case will be cheap, it's venture capital and blah, blah, blah. So the
Right.
cost of capital here should supposed to be like that. And when you're saying, hey, we just we just made an experiment, and in the experiment we know that risks are not like that, but in between this level and that level, so in this corridor, for example, then after, when you know this probability, and we know with 100% that the probability is in this corridor, yeah, of failure, for example,
Hmm.
then after, cost of capital can be, and it makes sense, totally different. And the
Absolutely.
investor saying, hey, of course, and especially when this process of testing experiment is auditable, and when auditors are saying, independents are saying, yeah, we audit it and it's reliable, then after, investors are also super happy because they have audit in hands, experiment driven data. Of course we can give you a cheaper money, or at least you can negotiate cheaper money, and your financial people, controlling people, they love it immediately. So
Right.
they switch in one moment from someone who say, failure, it's risk is bad, no way, and then after say, hey, now I am loving it. We're
Ex-
not talking about what kind of risk, we're talking about you helping me to reduce my risks. Hey,
exactly.
you're a different kind of a guy, you're not this crazy innovator who is willing to, well, looking for opportunity to waste money, but you're actually helping me.
Looking to save me money. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, this is great. I mean, and one of my questions was going to be kind of, as you're advising, these companies, how is this being taken? How are they, how are they perceiving it? And is there an example, maybe one example, because if you have the tea, or if sometimes people like to kind of match this with a story or an experience that you might have had. Do you have an example of this where this was explained, there was some hesitancy, some pushback, or just misalignments on, they weren't understanding this concept, and then when once it was explained, and they then prioritized this mindset, this way of thinking, that they saw some results, some savings. Do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, actually, unfortunately, or yeah, for his purpose, I will not give it names
Names, yeah, absolutely not. Obviously, anonymized.
because it's it's sensitive topic, and
Absolutely.
still we should remember what I'm starting from. Still, we are talking about progressive but conventional kind of leaders, majority of cases, and the example. Yeah, would sounds pretty typical for what I just described before, and this is what is happening. The resistance on the first stage, and then like acceptance and appreciation on the second stage. Only thing that which with each case, with each company, I'm compressing the distance between these two steps, and so just avoiding unnecessary movements, let's say so, and like don't creating drama between these two
All right.
steps, and
Right.
delivering the idea from the very beginning. Other thing is cultural aspect, when you're saying that, and this is, I believe, the most interesting part of this question, because culturally, what does it mean culturally? Culturally, it's one of the description of the culture is, or corporate culture, and when you behave in a certain way, when no one is controlling you, yeah, you're just doing right things, even knowing that you can do not right things and nothing happened with you, but you keep doing right things. This is cultural behavior. Yeah, no one is watching, but you still cigarette butts dropping not on the floor but in the bin. Yeah, while no one is watching, because it's your culture. It's the same the same in the company. Yeah, so cultural element. It's very hard to first of all to control, to establish, and you should cultivate it long time. But how to do it fast? This is another question, and there is an answer for that. And the answer is, um, I pretty much love this sentence from Brian Robertson from Holacracy One, and I heard it from him personally. Yeah, and I know he loved to use it. That he's answering on the sentence when someone's saying that, hey, you know that culture eats strategy for breakfast, and he's answering, hey, yeah, that's true, but system eats culture for dinner. So
Mm.
systematic things, governance things, the same weapon which company use usually against innovation, against new cultural like ritual models, things still can be used against them or for them as well. What does it mean? It means that practically when you establish this decision-making process based on the pre-evaluation in experiment of future investments, then after you avoid this old cultural pattern, big bosses, directors, including financial people are sitting, and you should persuade them in your project or your product. And this is a cultural discussion, like you should, with your authority, manipulating with some facts, you still persuading them, so they should give you an answer. Yeah, I believe now, I'm committed. Yeah, we all know these words. Yeah,
Yep.
now I'm believe, I'm convinced. While systematic things in corporate innovation, despite the fact that everybody treating like, oh, innovation, this is something, um,
Yeah.
it's very practical and very systematic thing. And now I'm giving the example exactly. So when there is a strategic discussion about strategic plan for the next period of time, and we are talking about action planning for the next year. So we having strategy, for example, and and the company having action planning, building a pipeline of actions, investments, different kind of projects, initiatives for the next year, and budgeting them. Imagine that, not imagine, this is a real life example, by the way, or when certain people came to present and protect their actions or their projects with results of experiments in their pockets and with the real data, and with this estimation of the risks, data driven, and they fight for the same money with the colleagues who came only with PowerPoints, Excel, some certain research, certain panels, blah blah blah. So yeah, still data, but extrapolation. So too many hypotheses there, logical and should work, but still hypothesis. And in these circumstances, I've observed a couple of times, and actually I keep observing each time it's happening, that when decision makers are making this decision, and for example, first part of the action was like, yeah, I'm still believe, yeah, I'm persuade, I'm tend to this solution or that. And when there is a hard facts on table, and someone would love to start playing this game, like I'm tend to believe in this direction, I had a feeling there, then colleagues of this director, other directors, who are more like, yeah, fact driven, more
Yeah.
saying, hey, why we saying tend? Why we here using right now words like believe or I'm persuade? We have facts, we have
Yeah.
data. Why you not persuade with facts, but persuade with certain emotional like packaging of presentation? Can you elaborate on that, or can you explain? Can you beat these facts with certain other facts which is coming from your persuasive mood or something like that? I've been observing that a couple of times when this self changes, so not external, not consultant, not new player, someone new who's coming and teaching that, but actually these kind of new behaviors start happening in the team, including senior people. And and this is how kind of a new culture, I could say, is born and
Yeah.
developed based on the system of decision making based on experiment.
Right.
And one more cultural example I can give you, cultural transformation. And this is the first example was on the decision maker or executives level, and another example on pretty yeah, almost blue collar, yeah, workers. So it's yeah, pretty much line executives, employees who is in front line of business, like sales representatives and so on. And what is the most popular subject or topic or of discussion in the smoking rooms or in corridor talks? Yeah, usually it's criticism of the management or other colleagues, like sales criticizing marketing, saying they are cosmonauts, they are developing something which is far away from the real life, they have now seen clients, blah blah blah, and so
Mhm.
on and so forth. And actually, many years ago, when I'm just starting this journey, it was a kind of breaking through experience for me, a transformative experience for me. When I in the company where we start deploying and yeah deployed and keep developing the corporate innovation, corporate entrepreneurship culture and practices in such kind of a dialogue, I heard that other side, yeah, in the
Mhm.
dialogue said, he said, yeah, okay, so one sales guy said this, we have this merchandising materials, they are bullshit, they doesn't work, and so on and so forth, it should be like that and that. And his friend, instead of saying, yeah, you're right, these idiots, yeah, how we can execute our plans, he said, but you can change it. Have you submitted this idea and initiated a prototyping and experimenting initiative? You can actually, it sounds like you do have an idea how it's can done better.
It's a
And
work in progress. Let's
yeah,
collaborate on it.
he he expected for support and like, yeah, idiots. But he said, why don't you try? Because he said, but try what you are saying. He said, yeah, that there is an opportunity in our company now to, I know that this Michael has last year, he was bring this idea about the portable printers in the car, so he can not visit in office frequently, so he can on the go print something and it saves certain time. And he just bring this idea, he tested, it worked, and now we all using this device, and or if you not yet, but next month we'll start using it, and
Mm,
you can do the same. And
mhm.
he was like, really? And he was shocked. And
His mind didn't even go there. Yeah.
the last sentence was like, so if you don't want to try something new while you have a chance, then I don't think this is it worth to shake in the air right now or keep
Mm,
shaking the air in this direction. Yeah. And they were colleagues, they were peers. It was not guy from char or
mm,
from I don't know where, from management coming and saying, no, 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 you should not act negative thinking, blah blah blah. It was peer-to-peer transformation,
mm.
pure cultural transformation
Organic.
in a
Yeah.
very simple, natural, organic way. Absolutely
Mhm,
right. So this
mm.
it was transformative experience for me, and only keep re-energize my motivation to keep acting in this direction and bringing this to life.
Yeah, two peers to, have that discussion had to have been a very, very insightful discussion to see have happen and play out organically. Because yes, far too often I'm seeing this, this different mindset within, the organization that just falls on, what team, what department that you might be in, and kind of having to create that synergy. Vertically across different, levels within a company can be extremely challenging. So finding a way to, kind of going back to a lot of what you mentioned before, make this less risky, show the data, using the data to harmonize and get on the same page, to have something that, you can show to the management or the higher ups to get the buy-in from them. All of these things become very important when kind of creating that collaboration and that, buy-in, across the company. And, having seen this firsthand, kind of I was at Siemens for a while, and we had this OT, the OT side, we had the IT side, and it was very hard for us to kind of get them, both on the same page. And now you've got, I'm working for a startup now. We're trying to, align so many different, departments and get this, this buy-in from so many different aspects. And there's difference of opinion on what works and hesitancy, maybe from the OT side, the operations side, who are like, we've tried all these failed pilots. They keep bringing all of these, new ideas to us, and it's just not working. We're not seeing it. Yeah. And I'm just curious, like, yeah, do you from a software or, kind of a platform standpoint here, like what tools or what, software or what's out there, what's coming down the pike that you've got your eye on that can kind of help make this journey easier for teams, for companies as a whole? What would you recommend using in this journey, in this?
Honestly speaking, I would avoid any kind of very precise recommendations or brands or platforms or names, just because we are living in a very, very dynamic world, especially when we talk about digital tools and new tools being born every day, and old tools being upgraded, some of them not upgraded, especially in the era of the artificial intelligence opportunities this technology given us. It's really, by the end of recording this podcast today,
Somebody else is
it's
going to
yeah,
come up
yeah,
with a brand new tool that,
brand new
yeah.
tool or new functionality in a well-established tool appears, and so on. So usually in my practice, I can help to outsource ideas about what actual solutions for this very type of experiment can usually not position myself as an expert in this very in tooling, because tools, this is something which is also evolving once again, and company can select something which is suitable for them, or external expert or partners in exact subject area can advise something which is actual right now for this very task, yeah, for simulating.
Mhm.
I don't know, for example, I remember many times ago, many years ago, we made an experiment between one big FMCG company, and we made co-experimenting with mobile operator, exactly in the area of simulating the using the data from mobile phones to online, in online mode, adjust location for promoters.
Mhm.
Today it can sound funny, like everybody could say, "Hey, this is something obvious," but it was like 10 years ago, for example. And for that moment, it was really experiment which these two companies made. And in that case, there was no providers who was on the stage in the role of already providing these services based on the data from mobile operators. Today we have an entire industry and multi-layer levels of super specialist with super specialization, yeah, companies who saying yes, we can with access to data from mobile operators, can do these certain sophisticated, very tiny things, like including how often you shake your phone, yeah, including data like that. But
Yeah.
for that moment, for us, that was not accessible. So we supposed to go directly to mobile operator and saying,
Mhm.
hey, why don't you make a co-experiment together? You have challenges and your strategy developing your B2B tools and solution. So
Mhm.
you can invest only your time and
Mhm.
build an experiment together with us. And we are not pretend on ownership on the future tool. What we want as a company is just certain price advantages in this tooling and certain maybe ability not to offer this solution to our competitors within next year, but
Mhm.
later, and for other industries, yeah, do what you want with learnings and with the outcomes from the proof of concept with us and so on. So it was pure win-win, and this is the models I'm usually looking for and
Yeah.
offering. This is my specialization. So usually
Absolutely.
this question of tooling, because another aspect of tooling is also sometimes to co-create the tool as together with certain partners, and it will be like zero investment from both sides. I mean, so zero profits from both sides, only your time investment, but it's actually with the purpose to create an innovative solution which we
Right.
then after, as a potential client, can use it for free or with certain price advantage, and maybe protect these new advantages we are getting from this solution through the non-compete,
Exactly.
opportunities, temporary of course.
Yeah.
But with you as an our partner, you can use our experience and references to capitalize it and to sell it and so on. So these mainly, yeah, few illustrations from approaches I'm usually practicing. But
Yeah, absolutely. That co-creation journey seems, quite appealing and less risky. And I've seen it happen, multiple times. But for like, I'm curious if you would have, Did I see that you also had some advised startups at some point too, or did you like here's what I would ask from an outsider perspective for let's say a small startup who has an idea or a solution, and knowing what you know coming from this corporate culture, from enterprise levels to F500 companies, and knowing this, how would you recommend that they approach these companies with this mindset, those that are either highly risk averse, or those who are open to this type of innovation, this open innovation culture. How would you recommend that they approach them, knowing what you know from the other side?
I think part of the answer on this question was given before, but in a nutshell and in a kind of a small summary format, it would sound like still try to use your capabilities and competencies in design thinking, in your empathy and your client analysis, customer analysis for your partners as well. Try to understand in which role they exist in, what external barriers do they have, what fears they have, how they make decisions, and what kind of fears and when appears and in whose head and so on. And then after, adjust your offer. I'm not saying change your offer, I'm saying adjust, maybe repackage, rephrase your offer exactly so it can match and tackle these barriers, tackle these issues, fears, and practices and so on, exactly like an example I give you with the failure. Yeah, so like positioning failure and risk like opportunity, like investment and information about the probability of success of investment on the scale,
Mhm,
versus give us money for experiment.
mhm,
It's like sounds very totally different. We want
mhm.
money from you for experiment and we promise nothing. Can't guarantee. Look how it sounds like. For
Yeah,
any company, it's like, what? What?
yeah.
And yeah, you can find the client with the approach like that who is already passed through this internal thinking and growth, mental change process, transformational process. We are self-learning, I don't know, advisory and so on, and end up with the idea, yes, I know I would love to buy something with with undefined probability of success.
Mhm,
Because it's experiment, I understand. Okay, then after go and fight for this half of a percent of the market. Good luck. Other thing, when you would love to focus on 99% of the market and you are selling experiment services, for example, yeah, you should reposition in your offer. What you're not offering a company to spend money with no guarantee. No, you guarantee for sure you will give something. What you will give? Result of experiment. What is the result of the experiment? This is information about the probability of success. This is the most valuable information in the corporate world.
mhm.
It's very valuable. For
Yeah.
example, dealing with that, you can maybe find a way that, for example, your startup and your value can lie in the perspective of, I don't know, risk management or engagement or transparency of your supply chain or something like that. So, and you should point on these exact values and on maybe on political aspects, so company can talk later about something which is important, at the same time having kind of direct commercial outcomes. Yeah, because we are tackling now the technology, I don't know, green recycling, blah blah blah. We don't know the success. Yeah, we're not promising tomorrow the product, but we are acting in this direction, and we will be able to show the prototype to the public. We can earn some free public media, and which equivalent of which will cover multiple times the costs for this co-experimenting and collaboration. So will be different stakeholder, different buyer in this company. And follow me, you are company which is acting right now in the area of, I don't know, plastics technology, some, I don't know, some recyclable create blah 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 kind of plastics or biomass or something like that. And your target audience right now are actually buyers from the production sites, so the technologists and this all these guys, and you facing the wall. And at the same time, when you understood and you can get insights talking to your direct future customers and peers, that guys from PR or marketing department on GR team willing to dreaming to buy a story that you can create together with them. Story, not the product, but the
Right.
story about certain test.
Right.
And this cost of this story, or sorry, value,
Right.
media equivalent, if you're talking about in the marketing words, PR words, media equivalent of this story is many, many, many times bigger than the cost of this experiment, then you saying, hey, my dear peers from the plant, first of all, good news for you, you can do it for free. You should not look for budget, because it seems like the budget for our experiment lies in the marketing team or GR's colleagues. Okay, first thing. Secondly, and so on and so forth. So
Right.
but this level of thinking is another kind of a value proposition which I'm offering for startups, because pretty often, almost always, this thinking is not there, and I'm not blaming them.
Yeah.
It's okay, because you should have this experience and see, as you correctly said, situation from both sides. You should know what political kitchen is happening in the corporation, what is on the back end in
Exactly.
the corporation. Only these insights can bring you this level of thinking, and then after actions towards this direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Pablo, I thank you so much for breaking this down for us. I think this is going to be inspirational to some, educational to some, and entertaining all the way around. I really appreciate it. Anything you want to leave us with? Any final thoughts, or if not, just let the audience know, those who are watching, where they can find you, and if you've got anything coming up, please feel free to shout it out.
Yeah, Brandon, thank you very much for invitation. Thank you for the fruitful conversation, because for me it's very important to bring these examples, these small pieces which can trigger the new thinking processes in the heads of startups, in heads of the corporations. Because once again, I'm tackling the general huge purpose of this subjectivity and agency in the heads of employees, and through the corporate corporate entrepreneurship culture establishment. Because I believe this is the only way how, like, next corporate revolution will, non-technological revolution, will be this entrepreneurship revolution. I believe so. And in terms of the contacts, it's relatively easy to find me on LinkedIn and contact me through this platform. Most useful and open and most democratic way how to initiate the discussion. Will be happy to have a dialogue conversations with the corporate innovation guys, with the startups who are tackling or targeting themselves to work in the open innovation format or dealing with corporations. So yeah, looking forward for opportunity to collaborate and create value together.
Amen. There you have it, guys. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you for tuning in. And until next time, guys, take care.
Cheers.